Well, good morning and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Sunday morning, May the 21st, 2023, and we're live here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show at Love 105 FM. Again, every Sunday morning, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. The show is hosted by Mike Overson, Luminate Home Loans, Scott Wolmering of the We Team, the Minnesota Real Estate Team, and Remax Advantage Plus. And my name is Ryan O'Neill. Appreciate you joining us in studio today. We've got some great folks. As you can see, a full house. We've got Julio Silva down at the end of the table with Lunar Moving. Mr. Steve Groen sitting right next to me as well. A full house. And we are getting ready to go live on Love 105 FM. Your questions, comments are welcome throughout the show. Mike, Scott, good morning, guys. Should be a fun one.
Should be a good one. Get ready to go. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
We got a full house in studio. All right, we're going live again. Love 105 FM. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us at any point. Thanks for tuning in. Good morning. Welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Sunday morning, May the 21st, 2023, and we're live here at Love 105 FM every Sunday morning talking real estate, mortgage, current updates in our market here in the Twin Cities. This is a live show. It is local. And we've been on the air for a long time, over 15 years here in the Twin Cities, talking all things real estate, mortgage related. The show is hosted by Mike Overson of Luminate Home Loans, Scott Wolmering, and myself, Ryan O'Neill of the Minnesota Real Estate Team, Remax Advantage Plus. Always welcome your questions, comments, thoughts. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us anytime throughout the show. We've got a lot to talk about, a full studio. We're also live on social media as well. Whatever your favorite platform may be, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, of course. You're welcome to join us. You can see the five of us in studio, five guys. We need to mix it up here. We need Jen here again. We did have a lot of good responses saying we like Jen on the show, Scott.
I'm sure you did. Yes. No, she did a great job. Jen is my ex-wife. She was our guest last week talking new construction with Country Joe Homes. And again, like Ryan said, welcome for tuning in. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We are here local and live for the next hour, 612-294-6949. We have a topic today that we're going to cover, which is the 8 top myths that sellers need to know in this market. So what are the 8 top myths that sellers believe in this market?
Yeah, always great to have, again, Mike Overson, Luminate Home Loans, in studio with us. He's been the longtime partner with the Minnesota Real Estate Show with our team. Mike, I got a text message from you yesterday, said that you are working this weekend and ready for pre-approvals.
Yeah, I certainly was, and I certainly was working as well. So I probably spent about a good 4 hours yesterday morning getting through stuff. You know, it's weird because you guys have probably echoed us too. It's, the spring has been, it's like 1 week, you're just slammed busy and you got no time, right? You got no time for other stuff. You're just, every hour of the day is filled. The next week, you're somewhat twiddling your thumbs, like, where did everyone go? Everyone out there? And then also the next week it's back ramped up. So it has been ups and downs and streaky, just like our interest rates. It's been up and down. It's been streaky too.
Yeah, Mike, let's dive right in. We've got a busy show, a full show. Again, 612-294-6949. How you can join us by phone or by text with any questions. Mortgage update, Mike, you had mentioned earlier this year that there was a big meeting on May 11th about inflation, and then they were going to decide on some things, and perhaps that would adjust rates. What happened?
So that report, it was the shelter inflation data that was supposed to come out, and that got pushed back to like the fall. And so did we still get a nice little bump in rates downwards? Yes, we did. But everything we gained back on May 10th is gone. And, we're sitting closer to, the high sixes right now. So go back a week and a half, we were in the low sixes, right? And then Friday, this last Friday, you're sitting in the high sixes. So, like I said, our rates right now are up and down. It's unpredictable. If someone could accurately predict what's going to happen with rates, next week or even the week after, good luck is what I'm saying.
Do we think long term they're going to come down?
Yeah. So long term, they'll definitely come down. And the quote I heard the other day was, rates are going to come down, but it's not going to be a straight line. Right? It's not going to be just a slow, steady drop like this. We're going to have these waves of ups and downs with the overall general trend of interest rates being down. Could we see 5.5 by the end of the year? I think we could see that, yeah. But just know it's going to be a rocky road between now and then.
And for those of you that missed the show like 7 weeks ago, how many factors feed the actual interest rate and affect it? And there's a blog on this too.
Yeah, so there's like 31 total factors, but so we narrowed it down to like 17, right? So you have credit score, you have down payment, you have property type, you have your loan type, amount of discount points you pay, you have all these different factors that go into what someone's going to get for their interest rate. So when we talk about rates, we're talking about your standard conventional, 5% down, 30-year fixed. Just know that your individual situation might get you a better interest rate, might get you a little bit worse interest rate.
The interesting thing, I was just thinking back through the years with, because we talk all the time about how, a 6% interest rate is a good rate. It's I think the average over 40 years is right around 6%. So there's nothing wrong with that. I think the distinction here that we've never seen before. I mean, in 1999, when I had just gotten licensed, rates were in the high 7s or low 8s, and no one blinked at it. The average sale price was also $146,000. So now here we are. Fast forward 20 years later, we haven't really got a raise. People are still making the same amount of money they did in 1999, minus about $6,000 as a household family, and the average sale price is $384. Or whatever it is this week, but we're roughly right around that. So you've literally doubled the affordability of what you can afford. And I think that's why we see so many rentals. I mean, because, you're paying $2,000 to $2,500, $3,000 to rent. But when you look at a $500,000 house, which is kind of your entry point now, and you're at, a high 6, low 7, that's hard for people to chew off.
Yeah, and again, from a number standpoint, we'll dive in just to share what's cooking here in the first segment. Update comparison on prices and new listings. So new listings in the Twin Cities down 18% year over year. There were 1,533 new properties that came on the market. Pending sales still down pretty significantly, down 23%, 1,096 pending sales this past week. And then the inventory slightly increased to 6,325. Median sales price remained flat at $355,000. So again, that entry price point, again, that kind of mid 300s really is that level, it seems like, Mike, for a lot of the first-time buyers buying their first home. That's kind of the range for a lot of that, type of property. Certainly there's outlying areas, different property types where we're seeing some homes in the 200s, but the mid 3s seems like where we're at.
Yeah, I would say so. And also the mid 3s, around that area is also where you have the most buying pressure. So
Sure.
you got a 350, listing in any of the outer ring suburbs. I mean, you're talking about multiple offers. You're talking about going over list price. You're talking about waiving inspections again. I mean, we're kind of back to that right now. So it's very competitive, in that entry level range.
Yeah, again, 612-294-6949 is how you can join us. We're talking today about the 8 myths for home sellers. Scott, what's myth number 1?
I sent that to you, so I don't know.
I haven't. No, I'm giving them a bad time here. We got to put them on the spot again. It's the 8 myths that we're talking about specifically for home sellers. The first myth, Scott, are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Is going with the first buyer is never a good idea. In other words, the first buyer that comes in, offer on your home, that's never a good idea because, again, there's a lot of other buyers out there and such.
Yeah, I mean, and that is the myth. Statistically, the best offer that you get is the first offer that you get coming in. Now, don't mistake that for a market that deals in multiple offer situations. That doesn't mean that one offer comes in, you just sign off on it. I think that has to do a little bit more with the old school thinking of, okay, we've been on the market for 3 weeks. Now we get an offer. It's 10 grand light. Well, I don't want to take that. I want my offer, and it'll get better because I'll just wait for my number. That never gets better. So
Sure.
the longer you're on, the less money you get. We all understand that, but we do this every day. Hard a lot of times for sellers to understand that. But yeah, typically your first offer is the strongest offer you get. Longer you're on the market, the lower that gets.
Yeah, before the break here, I did want to touch on awesome listing. This one is Jan Rolfe with the Minnesota Real Estate Team Remax Advantage Plus. Guys, she has a really nice one here, 7032 104th Avenue. And it is, her description says it's a pristine home for sale in Brooklyn Park. It's just minutes away from Arbor Lakes and Maple Grove. The homes in the neighborhood rarely come up for sale. It's a newer neighborhood. Scott, built in 2016, 3-car garage, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 4,500 finished square feet. It's got a 19-foot great room with a really cool 50-inch Napoleon Vector smart gas fireplace. What do you think of that, Mike?
That sounds fancy.
That's very cool. And she said these fireplaces do a number of things. You'll just have to look it up. It's too much to tell on the program. Brand new construction, free deck, overlooking fountains in the pond, in-ground sprinkler systems, a large perfect yard for entertaining and playing. Scott, spacious, finished walkout basement, room for a theater. She just said, bring your family and friends to the community swimming pool and playground. $650,000, and it just went on the market. So this just went on the market. Brand new, 7032 104th Avenue. And Jan says, come see it today. Be sure to check that out. What a cool listing. That's very cool.
That is a cool listing. The only problem with those fireplaces, they don't put out heat. They do a lot, but they just don't put out heat.
That's the new wave there, right?
Yeah,
That's the
it
new
is.
age of fireplaces.
And I'm totally kidding, Jan. Do not call me and say, don't tell the people in my fireplace doesn't put out heat.
That's cool though. That's very cool. Steve, have you seen, you're a man of the times. Have you seen a Napoleon Vector smart gas fireplace?
No, but I think I'd like one. It sounds really, really cool.
Julio,
Anything with Vector in the name.
Julio, have you
Very
seen
cool.
one?
No, I have not.
That's super cool. I want to see it. We're gonna have to Google that here before the break. Pull it up.
I'm still thinking about that first myth. And I was thinking of an analogy, and it's almost like, and Scott, maybe you can chime in. It's like internet dating. I mean, if you go on an amazing first internet date, do you just keep dating, or what do you do? I mean, it's kind of like that. That's what we're talking about.
Oh, no, that's exactly a really good analogy. Meaning, as soon as you go out and you get that first date and you're like, yeah, this is it. I don't need to see anybody else. I think that's kind of the same as a really good offer on your house.
Yeah, the hard thing about it,
Except
again,
I'm over 50, so a good first date does not exist,
Scott,
as I've found out. But I'm sure in theory, yes, that would be a good analogy.
the hard thing for you as a home seller too is when you see, when you see and you hear about the market with such limited inventory, and you hear about so much demand out there that you think, okay, we've got an offer, but there's got to be more out there for us. You have to remember that a lot of the buyers that agents are bringing through to your property, they are pre-approved buyers working with a local real estate agent. They've seen the competition. Often they've offered on the competition. And so when they're coming to your listing, they have a really good idea on the market, and they know kind of what things should be priced for. And in that case, guys, that's where that first offer is usually your best offer. Again, you can always call for a highest and best if there are multiple offers, but those buyers know the market, guys. They've seen it, Mike. They know what's going on.
That's the thing. Their agent for sure is telling them, look, if you want a legitimate shot at this house, you're basically going to have to give the seller what they want so that they don't sit there and wait to receive other offers coming in. So if you really like this house, you want it, here's my suggestion of how you need to write this offer. And they're going to go in strong. If they really want it, they're going to go in strong so that they don't give the seller a choice really to wait for other offers. Like, hey, there's a really good offer on the table. Do take it or leave it. You want to get them to take it.
Good myth. First break. The Minnesota Real Estate Show, 612-294-6949 is how you can join us by phone or by text. Feel free to call us, text us, or comment on the social media stream as well at any time throughout the show. We'll be back after the break. In studio again, we've got Steve Groen right next to me. Julio Silva. Julio, I like your gear you got too with the lunar moving stuff. That looks awesome.
Yeah, it was just decided to wear something simple today. So I don't know. Just was a lazy day. Who said something about dressing up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should bring in some other gear for us, and we can
Yeah.
all.
I'll wear lunar stuff.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
I want some lunar stuff.
Thanks, guys.
Where'd the
Jeez.
name Lunar come from? You have the,
Yeah. So when I was young, just some inspiration from my childhood and my teenage years. When I was younger, I wanted to be an astronaut, and just some music from that I grew up with back in the day, and I don't know, just something different. Like, I feel like a lot of the companies up here are generic, so basic, something different, right? Something out of the box.
That's cool.
Very cool.
How'd you come up with Standard Water?
That's not basic.
yeah. Well, we bought it. It's been around since 77.
Yeah, I was going to say,
So
he
you did.
didn't come up with
I know that. I know that. I'm just seeing what you would
Oh,
say.
yeah. You're a funny man.
Hey, we got a full house in studio here. Again, we're over, and sometimes I had a question this past week saying, "Where are you guys? Where's this studio?" So we're actually over in where KQRS 93X and Love 105 are here. It's right over by the University of Minnesota. So we're right behind the University of Minnesota. It's kind of you wouldn't even know, just a little bit of a hidden building, but yeah, so that's anyway, that was a question we had, Mike, earlier this week. Where are you guys?
Well, I remember the first time coming here, none of us could find it. So
No,
it's
I
definitely
you couldn't get back here.
Yeah.
I just meet when Jen was coming, I just met her up front. Yeah, because it's hard to explain.
Yeah, 8 myths.
Yeah, let's go back to that first one. It is as you guys were talking at the end there. The best way to explain it this way. So if you put a house on the market, and let's say your number was 500, and that was kind of pushing that number, but you're there, so you go there, you get 25, 30 showings on it, and you only got 2 or 3 offers. You were this close from costing your seller 25 grand.
Sure.
I mean, that's the teeter-totter that you're on, because at 24 or 30 showings, if you really are priced correctly, you should get 5 to 10 offers, and you should get anywhere between 10 to 15 grand over if it's priced correctly. And so if you don't, and you get that 3, you're this close from not getting any, and then that number gets really bad. It's always, that's the hardest thing in this market, is at what price point are you at to leverage the upper, or are you already pushing that price point so you have a potential of getting lower?
Mike, what are you hearing from other buyers agents on the Minnesota real estate team, all the different brokers that you were here with? What are you hearing from your agents you work with in the market?
as far as that goes.
Just in general, just with getting offers accepted, writing offers, showings.
It's tougher. Yep, definitely tougher, depending on the price point you're in. But we've even seen too some higher end 900s, millions. We've even seen them go into multiple offers, right? Where you have to get creative with your offer, whether it's offering more or, changing your terms, offering additional earnest money, whatever the case may be. But in general, yeah, it's that bread and butter price point. Just prepare to be in multiples.
Yeah, that's a good point. Again, we're getting ready to go back live on Love 105 FM. Down at the end, Mr. Julio Silva, you've got Scott Wolmering, Mike Overson, and Steve Groen sitting right next to me. Hi, Steve.
Hi.
Here we go. We're going back live on Love 105 FM. Hey, welcome back to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We got a full house down here live at Love 105 FM, which is right down by the University of Minnesota. Excited to be here today. Every Saturday, we're talking real estate. We're talking myths, lots of different myths, 8 home selling myths. Before we dive into the next one, guys, Shorewood, I got a nice listing in Shorewood. Kat Kitt, who is with the Minnesota Real Estate Team, Remax Advantage Plus, has a really nice one for 400,000. It's a 2-bed, 2-bath property. It's at 25520 Park Lane. Again, 25520 Park Lane is this property. And from a description standpoint, as you take a peek at the home itself, it's one level living, and it is an amazing townhome in Shorewood Ponds. It's ideal for the 55 plus buyers. It's near Excelsior Freeman Park. The property's surrounded by walking trails, lots of recreational activities. Mike recently painted. The interior has brand new stainless steel kitchen appliances, a new washer dryer, stunning kitchen, tile flooring, and suite bath with walk-in shower. Sunroom faces south. It's got a cozy gas fireplace. It also has a high efficiency furnace, central air, newly installed water heater. Check that out again. 25520 Park Lane in Shorewood. Cat Kit has that listed. 2-bed, 2-bath, 55 plus. Very nice looking property. We got a phone caller here. We're going to go live to the caller here. Thanks so much for calling the Minnesota Real Estate Show. How can we best help? Absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay. First question is with that latest deal where they put the, if you got a good credit rating, you buy a home, you got to pay so much to someone that has a bad credit rating or different income. They changed that here, and I didn't get what the change was. That they said something about that the change it was some kind of change put in there.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great question. I can explain that. So think of it this way. Everyone starts at a floor rate. So let's just say, for example, that floor rate is 5%. Well, if you had someone who had like an 800 credit score and 5% down, there's a few adjustments that go in there. Maybe their rate would end at like 5.5%, right? Now let's take that same scenario, but now the borrower has a 660 credit score. Well, that floor rate then after all the adjustments might end up at 6.5. So that was under the old rule. So 6.5 versus 5.5 in that example. The changes that were made was that 800 credit score borrower now, maybe that one adjusts up to 5.75 now, whereas the 660 credit score only adjusts up to maybe like 6.25, right? So it's the gap between a higher credit score and lower credit score that shrunk. And so they made it a little bit better for the lower credit score borrowers. They made it just a little bit worse for the higher credit score borrowers.
Got it. Yeah, really good question. So the second question, Mike, have you had feedback from buyers in the market about this credit change? What are you hearing?
So the people in the industry, right? Real estate agents, loan officers, those people that work on it daily, lots of feedback on that. Most of it is negative feedback. So as you could probably imagine, they don't think it's right, but it is what it is. As far as consumers go, they don't really know the difference. They hear what's on the news, but can they change it? Can you do anything about it? Not really. So have I got a whole lot of feedback? I'll get questions on, I saw this in the news. What was that? I explain it. And then it's just kind of like, well, okay, we can't do anything about it. Next topic, move on.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to it. Oh, sure. Please.
So this is Scott Wolmering. So you're referring to the fact that, for example, in New York City now, they've discontinued any new construction with gas stoves. Oh, you know what? You might be right, but it's one of the New Yorks. I just saw an article on it. I can't remember. But anyway, so if you're building new construction there's no longer going to be a gas stoves. Whether that continues to come across the country or not, I have no idea. So here, no one's mentioned it because it hasn't been an issue yet. And if frankly, if there was a state that would adopt it, I could see us being one that would adopt it. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, thank you for.
Yeah, I think the same way it does right now, where you have certain people that love to cook with gas. And so if you're showing a property that does not have a gas stove in it, it's got electrical, the first thing we'll do is we'll go look in the mechanical room to see if you can get gas to the area to put one in. I'm not sure how they would be able to police that. So I think that would be the fallback. People are still going to cook with gas.
Yeah. Hey, thank you. Thanks for listening to our show. Hope you have a good weekend. Okay. Hey, thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Where are you at in the Twin Cities? Minneapolis. All right. Well, we appreciate you listening. Hope you can get out and enjoy some sunshine. Okay. All right. All right. Thanks again. You too. Yeah. Bye bye. Yeah. A lot of good questions. He's on top of things with all the recent changes. All the different things that are affecting people in the market.
And he's right. We talked about it as soon as this was going to come out 3 weeks ago. The frustrating part, like I used the example of if you were going down to a car dealer and buying a Porsche and you were both paying 40 grand, and the car dealer said, "Well, I'm sorry, you have a better credit score, so you're going to pay 45. They're going to pay 36." People go, "You're crazy. I'm not doing that. Why in the world would I do that?" But in this, they don't know. It's just a fee that they're not going to be privy to, even that they're paying it.
It's a myth.
It's a myth.
It's a myth. Yeah, Steve Groen, I know you had a thought here to share.
I just had a question. So I'm actually looking at buying a house here, maybe even yet this fall, and just thinking about interest rates, all the different variables in the discussion. How negotiable are those interest rates, and what flexibility do you have working with where you get the money from and coordinate that? Is there are you kind of locked and loaded, or is it?
Look at Mike's reaction. Mike's
it's a good question. Are rates somewhat negotiable? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, in today's world, you really don't see huge differences like you used to back in the day because of technology. Everyone knows what everyone else is doing and what everyone else has got and all that stuff. So it's a pretty tight competitive, market as far as where rates are at. So are they somewhat negotiable? Yeah, maybe. Are you going to be able to negotiate like 0.5% or a full percent off? Not a chance.
So, and I think what happened too, Scott, last weekend, it was really interesting. Jen Thompson was in talking about new construction, and what some builders are doing are these paying for a massive buy down, essentially. So, to give the borrower a really good rate over a 30-year term. But that's rare, super rare. I mean, they're spending like 15 grand or whatever it is to buy the rate like way down to try to move the inventory. But that's rare.
Yeah, it's rare, but I got to tell you, I'm seeing it across the board with especially mid-sized builders because they have to do something because the corporate builders or the big ones are already doing it. So like I've seen as low as 4.6% to the majority of them are at 5.5%. They're buying the rate down to about 5.5%. And I think that has to do with there was a national survey out that said what interest rate would it have to hit for you to get aggressively into the market again? And nationally, people said 5.5%.
Yeah, really good question, though. Really good question from Steve Groen. We're going to dive in.
We're not going to answer any more of your questions because so far I don't have a buyer rep contract signed with you to help you buy a house. So this information is not free.
Steve Groen is Steve. Our friend Steve is here. We're gonna have a nice discussion with Steve Groen, Standard Water, Julio Silva, Lunar Moving. If you go to mnrealestateshow.com, you'll see all of our great partners through helping clients over the last 20 years in the Twin Cities. We've found really good people in all the aspects of the buying and selling process to help you from a moving standpoint, from a home inspection standpoint, from a mortgage standpoint, you name it. Check out MN Real Estate Show. All of those great partners are there. We are at the halfway point here again. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us. Hope you're getting out to enjoy some sunshine. We'll be back after the break. Good questions. Good thoughts. I hope your weekend's going well, everybody. Every Saturday morning or Sunday morning, we are here on social media. Julio Silva down at the end. You got the garb on. I like the garb, man. You got to bring some garb for all of us next time.
Yeah, our marketing has really improved over the last 3 months. Really identifying ourselves as a brand and standing out in the market. So.
Yeah, Lunar Moving. Again, if you go to mnrealestateshow.com, you can see Julio and his company. Steve, no garb, no branding. Not sure what to think.
I
Just social media right now.
We do need a new logo though.
You know,
New logo? Why?
Yeah, I think so. If you go to standardwire.com, you see the logo. It's basically a stamp that goes into the cement.
Oh,
But to the novice person, they look and goes like, "What is that? Is that like a fist? Are you punching me? What's going on?" But I don't know how you draw a logo that depicts what we do. It's a challenge.
Mm.
you need to have your own tequila, because I see that George Clooney now is running commercials on some sort of tequila that he must be part owner of or something.
Yeah, the
Your
Rock,
own
the-
tequila?
The Rock too. No, the Rock's vodka.
Okay.
Rock, yeah. Is that
Hey,
what his name? Vodka? Yeah.
Conor McGregor, Proper 12.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, he
yeah,
sold it.
he's whiskey. He did it for how much? A lot.
Souvenirs 50 million.
Yeah.
Give or take, right?
Yeah, the weekend, and again with the market, there was an article this week that came out in the Star Tribune talking about this was the first time in 10 years that we saw a little bit of price dip year over year from a pricing standpoint. And so the question is, do we think prices are going to continue to kind of tick down a little bit? Are we going to see prices kind of go up? Mike, do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't think they're going to go down.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we saw prices go down there for the back 6, months, the back half of last year, but if you look at probably February, March, April, May of this year versus last year, are we up?
We're down a little bit.
We're still down a little bit year over year.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so I just and again this is
Super slightly though.
Yeah, I was
it's-
gonna say-
You're
You're
splitting
checking the
hairs.
average is what
yeah,
you're doing.
and this is in no way obviously this is just a sample. But I took a 1985 to 1999 split level in Lakeville. In the first 4 months of last year, the average was about 415,000, and this year it was like 370. The second part of this year was about 375. So, it's 3 to 5% is what it dropped. And again, that's just one city, but
Yeah.
I would think it'd be pretty across the
But
board.
how low were we at the lowest point? Like November, maybe November, December, year over the year. How far we're down?
That was they were in the three. It was in like the 350 range.
Yeah, but now again, we have to remember, everybody, we're not saying prices are going down that much. That's just obviously that's just one example. I mean, the article they talked about, it went down from like 358 to 354
Yeah.
or something. So it was just a very slight difference.
Yeah.
So people were like, "Oh, what's going on? Is the sky falling?" But I think with so much demand out there, it's still busy in a lot of price
Yeah.
points.
I think my point was if we look at November or December year over year, last year versus year before, if we were down 10% there, well, and now we're back to even. We're 6 months past that. Now we're back to even.
Sure.
Look how fast we rebounded, right?
Yeah.
In that sort of period of time. And rates really haven't done anything. Rates have still been quote unquote high, right? So I don't think home prices are going to go down. Look, we were down 10% at one point and we're already back to par.
Here we go.
Back to
We're
level.
going back
Yeah.
live. Love 105 FM. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hope the weekend's going well. Hey, welcome back to Love 105 FM, the Minnesota Real Estate Show, a local real estate show live every Sunday morning here, talking real estate, mortgage related, a lot going on in our market. I did have a couple other listings I wanted to feature. Ashley Hineker has a listing. This one, Scott, is down in Jordan, 916 Hope Avenue in Jordan. It's a 4-bed, 3-bath, 0.3 acre lot for $475,000. In description, it is an incredible one owner property. And it shows with the care, all the updates these sellers have done, a ton of home improvements. It's got a large corner lot. Again, it's 4-bed, 2.5 bath. It has an oversized heated 3-car garage, Mike, which you would like
Yep.
for your truck. Open concept, main flows from the kitchen to the living room, the kitchen, the dining room, and foyer. Feature e-cardwood floors, and the kitchen has GE stainless steel appliances, Scott. Living room has a gas fireplace, large picture window. Upper level has a loft, 3-bed, 2 full baths. Master suite has a walk-in closet. Outside has multiple areas for relaxation and entertainment, a 2-level deck, very cool, 2 patios, and a usable yard. They do have mature trees, landscaping, sprinkler system, underground fence. Come through, check it out. An open house on this. Check it out, see it for yourself. Again, it is 916 Hope Avenue in Jordan, Minnesota, 4-bed, 3-bath for $475,000. Saw the photos on that, Mike. Scott, that one looks super nice.
Yeah, Jordan's such a nice little community too.
Yeah.
It really is.
Growing up in New Prague, you always driving through Jordan, heading up to Shakopee. It is a nice part of the world. This part of the show, we always like to dive deep with 1 or 2 of our preferred partners that we have with our team, with our show. And in this market, again, with home sellers, with home buyers, with the activity that is happening, super important to have a good mover, a good trusted moving company. Julio Silva, Lunar Moving, the owner of Lunar Moving, is in studio with us. Thanks for being here, bud.
Hey, thanks for having me, Ryan.
Talk, what is going on in this market here with Lunar Moving? Where are things at? What are you seeing? And how is this year compared to last for you?
Well, for this year, we have doubled, if not tripled, sales since last year was my first year in business. So we've been just doing an excellent job. Our reviews are high. Our customers are happy. One thing that is new for us is our long distance moving. So we just completed a move to Marquette, Michigan. We just completed a move to Boyceville, Wisconsin. And there might be a trip to Salt Lake City.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So yeah, really exciting times. And so those, are big moves and just wonderful opportunities to have. So
Say, Julio, you said something earlier, probably off the air, that was pretty cool. You say you don't employ $15 an hour guys because you do not want $15 an hour guys moving.
no, they're not going to care as much, right? So for me, my success has really been about my employees, some of my marketing, but it really starts with my employees. I'm on every single job for now. I know that I can't do that forever as I continue to grow. But I think my customers really appreciate having an owner just that hands-on and really just feel appreciated that, hey, someone's here with us, and it's just not random people or people off the streets like some of our competitors may do. We're not Craigslist guys. We don't hire people off Craigslist. We don't use subcontractors. We're all employees.
See, it's so different with us. We try to keep Ryan away from our clients
Yes.
so that he does not. The less people that he meets, the better.
Yes, we found that.
It
We've done
works.
studies too. It's do we see sales drop? They kind of plummet, actually. So it's hard. I'm in therapy, and I've been in therapy with Scott.
It's couples counseling.
Couples counseling. No, but the interesting thing, Julio, you think about that. Again, we were talking about the labor market. Steve Groen is going to be talking here too with his business. But finding good people, retaining good people. So you're saying that you pay your people well because, again, they're moving people's stuff. You don't want to be dropping mirrors and furniture and different things that can be a real problem.
Wall dings and new construction homes. We're in a lot of new construction homes too. And these, I'm happy for these customers that we move. I'm like, wow, I'll get there someday. And, my customers are just so, proud of, what they're building. Accidents are going to happen. And they can happen in the industry. And what's always been, successful for Lunar is if something happens, just make it right. Just fix it right there, make it right. If there's a ding in the wall, get somebody out there, come and fix it. It'll be fine. And customers love that. Do not leave customers in a claim queue or, your claims for over 6 months. You're just going to just not good.
They're not going to keep being customers.
No, they're not going to refer you. They're not, just take care of them.
Speaking of a claim queue, this is always a fun way to end the week. Random thought for you. I got a call on Friday night from Hertz Rent-A-Car. Said, Mr. O'Neill, you owe $2,600 for a car rental back in May. There was a ding on the door or something. I'm just like, is this a joke? I felt bad for the gal calling me because you can tell she does that all day. And I told her, and I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. And she said, well, I'll be sending you an email. And I said, well, great. So anyway, talk about a ding.
From months ago.
Yeah, from months ago. Just a random thought. So anyway, I don't know what made me think of that, but I was just like a Friday night
Why'd
call.
you ding the door?
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, what are you talking about? And I knew she had to make a lot of phone calls, like similar calls. That's her job. Imagine that being your job. Hey, Scott, just want to tell you, you rented a car a couple months, and yeah, you owe $2,500.
What would be the worst job?
Yeah, what would be the
What would
worst?
be the worst job? For me, it would definitely be the guy that works the lost luggage department at the airport.
Oh, that'd be bad.
I mean, every single person you deal with is mad. I mean, everyone.
You're not in a good mood.
All day, all you deal with extremely mad people.
Hey, you lost my luggage.
Yes.
Just checking. Are you having a good day?
Yeah, are you having a good day before we look for you?
Julio, what do you think? Worst job? Can you think of something?
Uh,
Something that would be just totally no fun at all.
Yeah, how about collections? That can't be fun.
No.
Yeah.
Hearing people cry maybe and people going through legit situations, and doesn't matter. You have to pump your numbers, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be a tough one.
that would be a tough. Again, we're talking to Julio Silva from Lunar Moving. So Julio, again, your growth, second year in the business, you guys are doing an awesome job growing, working with a lot of our clients, other agents in the industry. Any other thoughts for people, whether they are immediately moving, whether they're looking to hire someone, they got a smaller job, big job? Any thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. So my recommendation is always be move ready. Be ready to pack. If you're going to hire movers, have everything packed. Don't be scrambling last minute. And if you're looking for movers, always read the reviews. Always. And if you're a realtor, realtors usually have a good sense of judgment and relationships with moving companies. And so really just as a consumer, making sure that you're not going with a broker and then you're out a bunch of money and maybe your stuff is missing. Always, my recommendation is always go local.
Do you have a minimum job you got to do?
We do have a 2-hour minimum. We stay in our lane. Our bread and butter has always been the local residential moving. We don't move pianos, we don't move pool tables, and we don't move safes over 250 pounds. And that's mainly because you don't know how. And if you don't know what you're doing, leave it alone. So if we have a job with a client, we'll pay for that piano, like Manny's piano or someone else to come out and move certain things like that. So we definitely take care of our clients.
As I say, so if you think of the two most, like the hardest and most stressful pieces of buying a house, number one as a buyer, actually getting an offer accepted, right? So
Yeah.
looking at all these houses, getting an offer accepted, right? So what's number two?
Moving.
Moving. It's got to be. So
Absolutely.
why would you skip on that if it's the second hardest and most stressful piece of the buying process? Don't skimp on that.
What do you do from
You guys sound like you do a great job, right? And so that's why it's like you don't want to go cheap on that because you're just gonna create more stress for yourself.
But packing though, like, so do people always? I mean, talk about that a little bit. For people that haven't moved, I mean, do you do it yourself? Do you hire a company to come in and put boxes of put the stuff together?
Yeah, great question. On a spectrum, I have customers that say, don't care how much it costs, just get it done.
Hmm.
And then I have on a spectrum that, hey guys, we have a budget. Let's try to meet this budget. And the families will do the packing, especially the families with kids. I've seen a lot of that get done recently. But no, we can definitely do packing. We have a good partner with U-Haul in their boxes. Please, people, if you're moving,
They're the best boxes.
They are. Don't use Home Depot boxes. Don't use. I feel terrible calling them out, but we do this every day, and some people don't know how to pack always right, and they'll pack things too heavy, and then these cheaper quality boxes will rip, and it's like, guys, come on. But anytime that we can make a recommendation for packing, definitely use U-Haul boxes. Those are the best up here in the market.
Hey, Julio, before the
Yes.
break, best way for people to connect with our friends at Lunar, yourself, your growing company.
Yeah, you can reach me, 612-282-5745. My email address is jsilva@lunarmoving.com, or you can reach us out at customerservice@lunarmoving.com.
Yeah, and again, if you Google Lunar Moving, you'll pull up, see all of his great reviews. Awesome job, buddy. You're doing a great job with your company.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, really good. We're at our final break here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. 612-294-6949. Scott will be leaving here this final segment to head to his therapy session, but we'll be back after the break. Thanks for joining us. Moving, Mike. That's a good point. The two things: first, get the house done. Second, move.
Yeah. I mean, just anything you do to take the stress off, right? So on real estate side of things, working with a good agent, working with a good title company, good loan officer, right? All that will hopefully reduce the stress you have around the actual buying process. And then moving, hire yourself a good reputable mover. You can save yourself so many headaches along the way by doing that.
Steve, what do you do? Standard Water. Tell our friends on social what are you in Standard Water doing?
Business wise, we are doing egress windows, radon mitigation, and waterproofing, exterior foundation repair. The last couple months have been ridiculous with the rain and the melt for like
Oh, I bet.
sump pumps. There were days we're swapping out 30, 40 sump pumps. Just crazy. You know, I got 4 trucks running around. And then the phones have just been lit up, just lit. And I think we've had some latent probably demand from the last 2 years. There have just been drier years, and so now there's more water and just piles of phone calls. So really good.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. What does it cost to do an egress window now? I mean, range.
If you're gonna do, because everyone remembers the lowest number quoted, right? So I got to be really careful. But I don't think there's companies out there doing anything for under 3,000 these days. If they are, it would be highly suspect. Our installs are different than the cheaper guys, so we're going to start probably in the $3,700-$3,800 range. That would include like a permit, and then we have different types of windows. We sell Vector windows; they're phenomenal, made in Fergus, and they have encasement where the crank out or the slider. So they're pretty cool and pretty popular. Then we have a number of different window well choices, everything from galvanized to some powder covered sort of aluminum like, and then industrial sort of plastic. So just a variety of different choices.
Is there any like lead times on materials? Like, are windows tough to get, or like you
Good
mentioned
question.
some pumps? Like, if you're doing 30 or 40 a day, like, are some pumps
Yeah,
becoming tougher to get? Or
we have a good question. We have a sump pump manufacturer, and they've always had really good stock, but they got kind of hung up with some parts that were stuck coming from overseas, over in California, and remember that. But we've been fortunate to stay ahead of the curve. I think last year and the previous year, some of those windows would be out like 4 months. So you'd have to forecast demand, make a huge purchase, and then hope you get them. We were just right on the edge a number of times. Imagine a homeowner, you're told you get this install, and now it's going to get delayed. It's
Right.
difficult, but we've stayed ahead of the curve on that.
Have you ever bought Home Depot boxes?
No. And now I'm not going to start.
See what you learn on the Minnesota Real Estate Show? I would have no idea about that. You know what I mean?
They are U-Haul is just way better. I mean, it's like what's like going to Cub Foods. And
Well, you moved a couple times recently, so you probably know that.
I've been through it, and you can actually reuse the U-Haul boxes over and over again because they're so good.
Huh. No idea.
Yeah.
No idea. If you haven't, Mike, you didn't know that, did you?
No, I do now though.
If you stump Mike, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, if you would ask me which boxes to buy for moving are the best ones, I'd have been like, I have no idea.
Yeah, after the break, we're gonna talk a little more with, again, Steve Stalock, Win Home Inspection. You're welcome to share any questions,
If he
comments.
was here.
Oh, Steve Groen. Sorry, I said Steve Stalock, didn't I?
At least you're not a handsome bald guy.
If he was here. Hey, we are going back live with Steve Groen, Standard Water, 612-294-6949. I hope the weekend's going well. Hey, welcome back to the final segment here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Hope your weekend is going well. We got sunshine in Minnesota. Gorgeous weekend. Hope you're able to get out and enjoy it. Before we dive in with Steve Groen, Standard Water, 2 last listings. Brad Benson with the Minnesota Real Estate Team, Remax Advantage Plus, has one in Forest Lake, guys. $288,000. It's 6482 Saddlebred Way. And it's a 3-bed, 3-bath townhome. It's got upgraded tile, wood floors, fireplace, huge primary suite with a walk-in closet, full private bath, 2 more beds. plus another full and 1/4 bath. The downstairs is an unfinished basement, lots of storage. Future Equity does have egress windows. Again, 6482 Saddlebred Way in Forest Lake for $288,000. And the last one is Bill Ebert with, again, the Minnesota real estate team, Remax Advantage Plus. This is in Wisconsin, 101 West South Ridge Court in Cadott, Wisconsin, Scott. It is 20 miles east of Chippewa Falls. Bill said if you're looking for a quiet, a very nice community, check out this property. Description on this right now, it's coming soon, Scott. It's $279,900, and it is a split entry built in 1978. And the home, it's in a cul-de-sac, and it's got major updates: roof, siding, furnace, concrete in 2009, water heater in 2018. Kitchen features stainless steel appliances, cozy wood burning fireplace, outdoor entertaining. You'll find a large deck off the kitchen dining room that leads to a concrete patio. There's also a 16 by 8 storage shed and garden area in the backyard. Get your showing slated soon. Again, this is a coming soon property, 101 West South Ridge Court in Cadott, Wisconsin for $279,900. Bill does a lot over in western Wisconsin. A lot of good stuff. Mike, I know he uses you on a lot of all the financing.
Yep. Yeah, Bill's a great guy. Super good to work with. Can't say enough good things about him.
Again, Steve Groen, Standard Water. During the break, we were talking about egress windows a little bit, costs on those. What are you seeing in the market? What is your company seeing? I mean, with the majority of the real estate industry, again, we're down 30% in transactions. That means 30% less closings, less accepted purchase agreements, less loans, less title business, less home inspections. What are you seeing? Are you feeling that downturn in your industry?
No, an upturn, massive upturn. But for us, a lot of it's weather dependent. So when the water comes, rain comes, we're swapping out sump pumps up to 30, 40 a day in our busy time earlier. And then the phones have just been off the hook to get interior drain tile installed to eliminate water problems. And Julio, one thing you said that resonated with me is your people. When we install interior drain tile, we are removing tons, literally tons, plural tons of cement and rock, and it has to get outside the house into a truck, one chunk at a time. It's very physical, and then it goes in reverse. We bring the rocks back into the home, wash rock, and then here comes cement. And so how's tons of cement and rock get back in the home? You got to be really careful. So I also don't employ any $15 an hour guys because they create problems, and I can't have any problems. I don't allow them. So you try to prevent them as much as we can. Egress windows have been going strong, very popular. We do a really good job. And by the way, my top 10 most tenured employees have been with me over 22 years. So it's not amateur hour when we show up. We do really high quality work. And then the last piece is radon. So the last few years, a lot of these homes have been moving through without the inspections, not happening anymore like it was. So I'm on the phone every day with real estate agents and buyers and sellers who have radon situations. Either they need a price for negotiation or they need an install to take care of the problem. Either way, we're there to help.
Yeah, Steve and Standard Water doing a great job. Again, radon, obviously a very important, a big item here. Again, with home inspections, Mike, how many of the purchase agreements you are seeing coming through don't have a home inspection?
If I had to take a guess, probably, I don't know, 50% probably.
Yeah,
Something like that right now.
yeah, quite a few. And Steve, we did have a question come in from a cost standpoint for radon for existing homeowners. What's the cost to put in a system?
Starts at $1,850 basic install. That includes a visual and audible alarm along with the permit with the state of Minnesota, and then it goes up from there. That would not include electric. Something people need to understand. If we can get installed above the garage, sometimes we'll connect it to an existing outlet. Otherwise, they should be hardwired because they run 24/7.
Scott, hasn't radon changed a lot as
Oh my gosh.
since the late 90s you've been licensed? Think of that. I mean, was there any radon talk initially?
My first 15 years, I probably had a handful, five radon tests done on all the properties we sold. And then it became, I don't remember the exact year, but it felt like it was about 10 years ago, where all of a sudden it came out as this kind of big buzz thing. The only time you'd ever have a radon test for all those, first 15 years is if it was a relocation, because they required it, that was part of their package. Outside of that, I never see it now on almost every single one. In fact, Steve's company just did a install for one of my clients in Chaska that was actually a slab on grade townhome, and the radon levels were high. That was the first time I've ever had that. Normally it's a basement, but I suppose it doesn't really matter if it's a basement. It's gas that comes from the ground.
Do you see that a lot, Steve? In that case, Scott's description of that property.
Well, we see every imaginable situation. We got a phone call the other day, and this is the most complex job. We had radon levels of 20.
Oh, wow.
Home was 130 years old. They added on to the basement. We actually installed drain tile in the middle of the home to suck air out before it gets into the basement, right? Got it below 1.
Wow. That's nuts. I've never seen
I won't
that.
tell you what they paid. It was a lot.
I bet.
But it was a pile of work. It was a 2-day job, 10 guys.
Steve, have you had Hertz call you recently?
I did. And
They said, Ryan O'Neal. They called me too.
It was something about I dinged a fender.
Yeah, they said, Ryan O'Neal, I haven't paid his frickin' bill.
What do you think about this, Julio?
Pay your bills, guys.
Yeah, I know. My God. We're all sitting over here going, Ryan dinged his car. He's trying to get away $2,600.
That sounds like Ryan.
That sounds like
he gets so upset he starts kicking doors in
Yes.
and stuff.
It's getting violent.
just temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Very violent. It is. It's an interesting world we live in. Yeah, it is. We did have a text message saying, "Hey guys, what happened to the myths?
Well, it's a myth that we can ever get through a topic.
Right.
What happened to your myths?" There, Steve Grown.
It's an 8-part series.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
That's
8
right.
months.
Catch,
It's like-
catch us every week for our one myth.
That's an 8-part series.
We would get that. I swear to God, the first 5-10 years of the show, we never got through a topic, and people would start to be like, dude, you're on number 3. There's 10. Oh, sorry about that. Wrong show.
Yeah. Tune in next week
Tune
for
in
myth
next
number
week.
2.
Tune
That's
in.
right.
This was, and we'll share one more myth here. Actually, we got 2 minutes left, but this one is an open house is a must for selling quickly. You got to do an open house. It's a must to sell quickly, Scott.
Yeah, less than 1% of homes sell through open houses. Open houses are for one reason and one reason only, and that's for the agent that is doing them to get buyers. That's it. It has nothing to do with selling your house. A real buyer will set up a showing. A real buyer will go through with his agent. Beside that, I don't want to have an open house because I want to know who the buyers are and who aren't. So if you've got 6 people coming through that would gone through with their agent, now I can't even track them and know what they think. Nothing, because they're just in and out.
I do like opens because it gives the buyer, the casual buyer, the chance to just kind of come in. Scott's point is very correct. Obviously, it's a way for agents to generate business, but you just never know. Sometimes you never know how you're going to find that buyer.
It's a great way to have your nosy neighbors who have never been inside your house that are
Yes,
curious to
that's
see what
right.
it looks like. Now it gives an open door to come on in and
That's
check
right.
it out.
Hey, Steve, people said, how do we get a hold of you? We're at the end of the show here. Best way to reach Steve Grown, Standard Water.
Standardwire.com, or find me on LinkedIn. You send me a message, I'll send you a free radon test kit.
Oh,
wow.
very,
Very nice.
cool. Yeah, Steve is on LinkedIn. Check him out. Nice job today, bud. Great job to you. Julio Silva, Lunar Moving. Congrats on your growth, man. Keep it up.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Julio's rock and rolling. Mike and Scott, any last thought here?
Go ahead, Mike.
Not really. It's all this talk, right? All this talk about, what our home price is going to do, where our rate's going to go at, this and that. It's still a good time to buy.
Yeah.
That's the main message here. It is still a good time to buy, because if you look at buying versus renting, buying still makes the most sense in most cases.
And so
Scott?
Yeah, and so I mean, it's a great market. It's frustrating for us in it through the years. How many times we've been like, buy whatever you can get your hands on. And people are like, oh, and then of course, a year later they're like, we should have bought everything we got our hands on. This is a great time to sell. So get out there. If you want to move.
Yeah, mnrealestateshow.com is where you can go. You can click on the top for a free market analysis, or you just want to know your home value. We've got a cool new tool there. Check that out. Click that out. Click it at the top of the website. It has been a fun show, the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Big thanks to JoJo, who comes in every Sunday morning and has to deal with 5 of us in here. 5 guys. We do it. We really appreciate JoJo. Hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend. Again, throughout the week, mnrealestateshow.com. Enjoy the sun today. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining us on social media. Great job, guys. Nice work.
If O'Neill dinged your door, shoot us an email. We'll get you paid. The poor Hertz and all the rest of the
Hurts.
What is it, Empire?
Legal help.
Yeah.
Hey, have a great weekend, everybody. We do appreciate you joining us. Lunar Moving, check him out. He's doing an awesome job. Julio Silva, plug in with him for all your moving needs. Steve, Grown Standard Water. Be sure to check out with the good folks there too. So take care, everybody. Have a good week.